It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha! Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Brouhaha. Dale and I settled up and ready to ride again on this beautiful Tuesday. How you doing, Dale?
Hey, I'm doing good, Marshall. How you doing?
Doing very, very well. Thank you, sir. Very well. Looking around a little bit and talking. A lot of stuff going on in the world of sports. A lot of stuff going on with the sideline view, which I just love reading it and seeing what you got for us every week. And I like to begin our show talking about that a little bit. Football season's getting kicked off real good. A lot of things happening. I tell you what, there's some road games. I'm talking about some road games, man. I mean, golly, Dale, how you go that far to play a football game?
I don't know, but I'd like to visit both of them.
Hawaii. You know, I've never been.
I haven't either.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, no, wait a minute. We stopped on an airplane one time when my dad was in the military. We come back from Japan.
Yeah.
And we just stopped there. And then just flew back out.
Couldn't even get out and walk around.
I guess they refueled and told us to get back on the airplane. You know?
I mean, dadgum. I tell you, I bet it's pretty though.
I bet.
So Vanderbilt goes to Hawaii to the Rainbow Warriors.
I think so.
Yeah. They play some pretty good football. I mean, there's some pretty good football players come out of Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Tua Tagliavola would be one.
I would definitely, if I was a high school football player, and I was one of those top 100s or 200s everybody wanted, I would say, I would let them know that I was interested in them, just so I could go visit.
Yeah. All expense paid trip to beautiful Hawaii. Not a bad deal. See if you can put something together like that for us. There's somebody over there we need to talk to.
Well, USM went over there one year.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
That was Bobby Collins was there. We had a boy from Waynesboro playing down at Southern named John Pitts.
Well, Big John, I knew John.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah, and they went to Hawaii.
Oh.
That was about 77, 78, somewhere in there.
I see we're northwestern in Nebraska going to Ireland to kiss the old Blarney Stone. Is that where that is? Is the Blarney Stone in Ireland?
Hey, you got me. You're the brains in this outfit. So you should know.
Well, it's over there somewhere.
Yes.
The Blarney Stone. So, I mean, that's wow. I guess there's a pretty good fan base for college football around the globe.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good trip. If you're a big Nebraska fan, Northwestern fan, I think it'd be a great trip to visit. To go on. It's just like when the Saints go to London. A lot of Saints fans go. Of course, I can't afford anything like that. I'm not quite. In that category as you rich folks, but I'm working my way toward it. Working my way toward it.
You may have to submit an travel expense voucher to the Brouhaha.
Great idea.
Great idea. We'll look into the recesses of our vaults and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we won't be coming up with much.
Well, Dale, we got some more sideline view stuff. This is something, I want to talk about this later, but let's talk about that later. But let's talk about our guest tonight. Talk about who you got coming up for us
Well,
tonight.
we have he's got some Wayne County roots. His name's Kevin Lindsey.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those young sports writers, and he's in the Laurel area. He's considered the general manager of Impact, and that's Buckley Enterprises, what they call it. But the Impact and Jasper County News, I think, and things like that. And Impact used to come in Wayne County a lot. It comes in portions of Wayne County now, but not as much as it used to.
Yeah.
But he covers high school sports in the Jones County area. Jones, Smith, Jasper.
I had a deal one time. You talk about the Impact. They used to throw them out in your driveway.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere. And whether you subscribed or not.
No, there was no subscription. It was free.
Okay. But it seems like I did a little research on. I had complaints on that back in the day when I had a little work for City Hall. I was over there for a while.
I remember.
And come to find out, you can't do that if you don't want that done, you can charge them for littering. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, we had a.
Well, now they send it strictly through the mail.
Yeah, that may be why we may have stopped that. Yeah. But anyway, we'll welcome her here tonight. I mean, we're not going to tell him that. No.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's just strike that for the record. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to remember. That was probably somebody else that caused all that
Out of
trouble.
sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. But I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's take ourselves a break right now, and then we're going to be back after this word from our sponsor with a guest Dale's lined up for us tonight, Mr. Kevin Lindsey, and we'll see you guys right after the break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome to the show, Kevin Lindsey. How are you today, Kevin?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
How's everything in Jones County?
It is blowing and going, dealing with a rainy Monday.
Okay. Well, we know you do a lot of sports writing for the Impact online and in their print paper over in that way. So we're seeking out some knowledge from you today about maybe the 4 schools in Jones County and maybe on the outlying deal like Bay Springs, Heidelberg, Stringer, every what you want to talk about. But we're going to concentrate on first on the big 4 over there, and just tell us a little bit about it. Wayne County's got to play I think about 3 of those folks this year, and it's always a battle when those teams get together. And so just tell us what you've learned. Say we'll start off with Northeast since Wayne County doesn't play us, but just give us a little recap of what you think about the Tigers this year.
Yes, sir. Northeast Jones, they implemented the wing tee last season, and actually it was the COVID year, 2 seasons ago. And it was a struggle during right after the COVID year. Obviously, they didn't get a spring and all of that. But last year, you saw a lot of improvement from the Tigers. And I expect a little bit more improvement this year. I expect them to probably compete for that district championship. Obviously, them and Mendenhall are going to be the 2 teams I think that you're going to be eyeing down the road, looking at that game and have it circled on your calendar. It all starts up front for Northeast Jones with the offensive line. The whole unit, I can't name just one guy. It all starts with that whole unit. Obviously, senior Kai Braddock, Coach Keith Braddock's son, he's going to be the leader on probably both sides of the ball, to be perfectly honest with you. Really tough, gritty kid, takes after his daddy, and honestly, that team as a whole takes after Coach Braddock. So a really tough, gritty team, and they'll be tough to beat.
All right, tell us about, I think, Wayne County's first district games against the South Jones Braves. What can you tell us about the Braves?
They're also moving to a wing tee. I talked to Coach Freeland 2 weeks ago for our season preview magazine, and they're moving to a wing tee out of the gun. Just kind of talking to him a little bit about it. If the viewers and listeners, if they think of like Auburn under the Gus Malzahn era, I kind of think of them kind of like that. Wing tee out of the gun, a lot of shifts and a lot of motions, kind of dictates with the personnel that they have. They got a good kid coming back, senior quarterback Luke Griffin. He's going to see a lot of carries. Todd Breland was also telling me that they have a really young quarterback right now that they're probably going to throw into that system too, get him some snaps. They're going to be a team that they're going to have to upset a couple of people in the district. I immediately think of a Brookhaven and Natchez that they're going to have to try to upset to get into that 4th seed. But there's potential there. If you kind of look at how teams are moving, we saw through the mid to late 2000s the spread kind of come alive and 3 and 4 wide out across the board. Teams, I feel like, are kind of moving back towards the wing tee, and South Jones is doing the same. So they can come up and surprise a couple of people. You never know what happens down the road. I know everybody thinks of Wayne County and Laurel and West Jones, but you never know as long as Todd Breland's on the sideline. Yeah,
it kind of surprises me a little bit. I mean, I just can't picture him. I'm not a wing tee hater by any long stretch, but I mean, that's interesting. Old Breland, he's getting it all out there, doing whatever he thinks it takes, man. He's a winner. He goes for it.
He does.
Right. That's that's the thing. We talked about it. I was as shocked as anybody else. I'm used to seeing Todd Breland want to air it out. And he said, this is the personnel that we have. And he said, you got to adapt, and you got to adapt with who you have and what you have. So I'm sure they'll still throw it around some, but I expect them to be pretty feisty with that wing tee out of the gun.
Well, that's good. All right, tell us about the Tornadoes. The Wayne County's got a tough schedule there at the end of the district schedule. They've got Hattiesburg, Laurel, and West Jones right in a row, but the Laurel's going to be the last home game over here on that last Friday night in October. So tell us about the Tornadoes.
Obviously, again, kind of like Northeast Jones, but honestly, I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't think I've ever seen any high school team as deep on the offensive line as Laurel is. Obviously, I got to cover them Friday night, the Jamboree against Bay Springs, and they are as advertised. If you hear about Laurel this year, you're going to hear about their O-line, and it is every bit as deep as I've ever seen. They have at least 10 deep. They can rotate 5 in and 5 out and be just about as good. Obviously, Malik Ellis and Malachi Breland, both are D1 commits. You got Malik Ellis committed to Mississippi State. Malachi Breland, he's currently committed to Memphis. Those two are anchors on the offensive line. They're just smart kids, good kids on and off the field. They anchor that line. They're going to be a running team. They don't have Kyron Benjamin, who I think was the best player in the state at the end of the year. He does not return. He was a senior last year. They're going to have more of a running back by committee, but obviously it all starts there now. With that said, they're still going to throw it around some. They have some speedy wide receivers that are just inexperienced. But otherwise, it all starts up front. They're going to run the ball a little bit more. They got a quarterback who returns, Javante Campbell. He returns. He's speedy. They're also going to run a 2-quarterback system. They've got a young guy that they're really excited about who has some zip on the ball. So they'll rotate in quarterback, kind of how the game goes. But I've got that game circled. Laurel and Wayne County. I believe that's going to decide the district. And my pick, and I said it on Super Talk last week, my pick is Laurel to be in Hattiesburg in December.
I got you.
Well, that offensive line they got, my goodness. I mean, that's not normal.
Hey, you can control the football. That's the main thing.
Right,
in the game.
that's what they're going to try to do.
Keep okay. All right, now the last ball game, the regular season, Wayne County has to travel to West Jones, and of course, Mississippi High School, I think, is going to have those games on Thursday night again, like they did last year. And so, what would you say about the Mustangs?
West Jones is. Scott Pearson said this, and I love Coach Pearson. And he doesn't want to use the word rebuilding, but if I was to tell anyone, I think that they're in a rebuilding type of year. They're going to be talented as long as Coach Pearson is on those sidelines. They're going to have a chance in every single game. But they're going to be younger. I think they return, I believe, 6 or 7 starters across the board. I believe is all there is. Their best player, he tore his ACL at camp in the spring. He's out for the year. So they're kind of scrambling around on offense to try to find a playmaker. Now, with that said, Marlon Lindsey returns to quarterback. He's a great athlete. Honestly, could probably be playing at the wide receiver position. So he has speed. He has wheels. But otherwise, they're searching for an identity on offense. Defensively, I think they're really, really good at linebacker. I think they're really good on the defensive line. And that's where they're going to have to live and die from, especially early on, is defensively. They're going to have to try to hope their defense can keep them in games. Coach Pearson was telling me the other day, August ball is just ugly, August and September ball. But if they can get through there, get their guys some experience, get them, get the pads on and get ready, they should be okay. I think that they'll compete for that 2 to 3 seed if they get going and get going early.
Is West starting with Madison Central?
Yes, sir. They're playing Friday night, hosting Madison Central.
Boy, they're jumping right into the fire, aren't they?
They are. They are jumping right into it. So that'll be a good test and good to see where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'll sure tell you where the leaks are really quick when you play Toby Collins
sir.
coach team there. All right, listen, let's just take a detour for just a minute. Tell us about the Bobcats down in Ellisville. What you know about them?
Jones College. This is exciting. Obviously, I'm their photographer for this year. I was last year, so I'm a little bit biased towards the Bobcats over there. But they returned, 40. I believe it was 44 of their 60-something players have never played a snap in a junior college game. So to say that they are rebuilding or reloading, however you want to put it, that's an understatement. A lot of their playmakers are gone from last year. We had the COVID year where everybody's got an extra year. So we're seeing now a lot of new faces. We're going to see a lot of new faces on the campus in Ellisville. Greenville Christian, everybody knows last year how good they were. There were a slew of players. I want to say it's 5 or 6 or 7 of those guys are playing now at Jones College. You have Alan Follis, who led West Jones their first state football championship. He's going to be the quarterback, probably splitting time with Greenville Christian's quarterback. But from what I understood, he's the leader in that quarterback battle, if you want to call it that. But there's going to be a lot of new faces on the field for Jones College. But Steve Buckley, he's in his 7th year, I believe. And he said he's pretty excited about what he's got.
Well, that's always good to hear about the Bobcats. All right, now let's just take us up to Jasper County. You got you got Stringer and Heidelberg and Bay Springs. Tell us about how those 3 may shape up. Just a little bit briefer than what you've been doing with the others, but just tell us about what you think their expectations are for the coming season.
Yeah, as a whole, for all 3 schools, I think all 3 schools, there's excitement surrounding them. Obviously, Bay Springs is coming off a 1A state championship. They're reloaded. They lost a few key players, but they're as deep as any team that I've ever seen in 1A football. They're going to be great. I think they probably repeat as 1A state champions. You've got Heidelberg's second-year coach there, Jimbo Nowell. He's a great strength coach, and he has them going. Really excited there. He said he's finally seeing some depth for his guys. So he's really excited. And then Stringer, they had to find a new head coach later. They lost their previous head coach over the summer. So they got Norman Johnson. He was a longtime assistant at Taylorsville and also was at McGee last year. A really good guy, a really good coach. And I think that Stringer is excited about moving forward. I think he said last that he knew they had about 45 kids showing up to practice, and that is probably a dozen or more players than they had last year on the team. So that's a really good thing to hear. So a lot of good excitement in Jasper County. That's where I'm covering at this year. That's my primary location. So a lot of good football up this way.
Well, are they all 3? You think gonna make the playoffs? They have the potential.
Oh yeah, I can see all 3 making it.
Okay. All right. What about slipping into Smith County? Because I know they got one really good player over there and one really good team, and then there's always Taylorsville too. But tell us about Raleigh.
Oh, Raleigh is going to be exciting. If you follow football, you know Jeff Davis County or was previously Bassfield. I look at Raleigh as Jeff Davis County 2.0. That is what they are. If you follow Jeff Davis County with Coach Lance Mancuso, the head coach there at Raleigh, Ryan Higdon, he is a Mancuso disciple, and that team looks exactly like one of Mancuso's teams. And obviously, he has Centurion Perkins. He's the Ole Miss commit. Despite the rumors of maybe him flipping to Alabama, I think he's the Ole Miss Rebel all the way. They are, everything is advertised. They are just a great-looking team. Very exciting over there in Smith County for them.
All right. What about Taylorsville? Are they rebuilding or are they coming back?
Taylorsville is in a bit of a rebuilding mode. Obviously, we know their history. They seem to be in it every year. Even last year, they made a deep run after Ty Keys is gone, after a lot of those exciting players have left. They still make a deep playoff run. They could very well do the same thing this year. They have a new head coach, Seth Johnson, I believe is who it is. But they could still make a run. Never count out the Tartars.
Okay. All right. So now that you finished high school, can you tell us anything about the Big Three? Southern Miss, Ole Miss, or State?
Yeah, definitely. The Big Three. Ole Miss obviously has one of their best years in program history. I feel like they're going to be back in the hunt again. Obviously, it's getting by Alabama. That's for everybody in the SEC. It's getting by Alabama. And I think they have a chance, depending on the transfer quarterbacks and all that, depending on how that goes. Mississippi State is actually one that I'm high on this year. I think that you're going to see this year Mike Leach and those Bulldogs take that jump. This is the longest time that Mike Leach has had a quarterback under him since he's been a head coach anywhere. So with Will Rogers, a Brandon native, I think this is going to be really exciting in Starkville this year. The Egg Bowl will be crazy. I can't wait for that. And then Southern Miss, despite their record from last year, I think they're going to be better. Obviously, the Sun Belt moving there, that's exciting for their fans. Getting out of the Conference USA. Frank Moore Jr. is there running back. Ty Keys is leading the quarterback battle. Taylorsville native. He's leading the quarterback battle there for Southern Miss. So all three programs, I think, are looking up, and I think it's exciting to be a college football fan in Mississippi in 2022.
All right, one last one. Okay, I'm gonna pull this out of the air for you. What about them Saints?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I am biased. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan.
Yeah.
So the Saints can go and win every game except whenever they play the Packers.
Okay.
But I do think the Saints are going to be really good. I believe they're going to have one of the best defenses in the league. NFL is my favorite sport, even over college football. I know that's a Cardinals fan living in the Southeast. But I think the New Orleans Saints are going to be really good. Jameis Winston was looking like a world beater until he got hurt last year. So if you're a Saints fan, it's probably going to be a really exciting year there too for you.
Okay. Well, listen, we really appreciate your time, and we know it's one of the busiest times of the year for you, and we wish you all the best. And we're excited to maybe see you on the football trail this year and meet up and like I said, we just appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Well, listen, I'm going to ask you. We're going to take a break. Hang on with us a minute, Kevin. We'll just hang with us. But right now, we're going to take a break here from our sponsors, and we'll be back with the final segment right after this word.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome back, everybody. I tell you what, Dale, I enjoyed Kevin. He's excitable. He's excited about what he's doing, and I like that.
Well, he's Wayne County boy.
Man, he got to be good.
He's got to be good. He's got to be good.
He said a lot of things, and one of the things that really grabbed my attention was the fact that he's talking about the people moving toward the wing type based offenses. With Breland doing that, I don't know why that's just surprising.
Well, and I'm just saying, you see a lot of teams on the coast run a similar thing to the single wing sometime. But what I'm saying is that he's right in the sense that you got to go by your talent.
Yeah.
And a lot of these schools are not blessed with great athletes like a Laurel or Wayne County or Hattiesburg or even West Jones, So, you got to go with what you got to go. And if you can out-trick somebody, or football's all about keep away. If you keep the ball away from them long enough, okay, you're just going to control the game. And so I just think it is. But it's an interesting point. If you go back to Mississippi history for the state champions, I bet we've had more state champions run a single wing than any other offense.
Yeah.
Because, they ran it for forever.
Yeah.
50, 60 years. And the spread stuff just came in probably the last 10 years, 15 years.
Yeah, look at Picayune.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 2 D1 running backs. I've heard people say, well, you don't want to, we heard them talking around here, you don't want to go to the tee because you limit your athletes in space showing what they can do. And I say, well, just hold on a minute. He mentioned them, let's just ride over there to Jefferson Davis County. And before they were Jefferson Davis County, the little school Bassfield over there had 9 players on D1 rosters at one time. So don't come to me and tell me that running a wing tee is going to keep your kids from getting looked at. If they good, they going to get looked at, no matter what you run them in.
That's the truth.
But you're right. It's hard to tolerate when you sit there and you just want the ball back. You want the ball back so bad, but you can't get it back. Now, Wayne County's doing a little of that.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne County's not 100%.
Yeah.
But they do. They brought it out a couple times last year and surprised folks.
Yeah.
I know Pascagoula was probably a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So that does happen. But anyway, I think the single wing has hope, but usually it's kind of like you've got to have some really good backs.
Yeah.
And you got to have some pretty good offensive linemen, at least a couple of them there.
Let me ask you this: you talk about you don't have quote unquote the athletes for space. You know what I'm talking about? So you get in here and you get into this wing sets, and you maintain them. What if? I guess we could find that out by what I just said about Bassfield / Jefferson Davis County. What if you had a bunch of world class athletes that ran? I mean, would it be that much better? Obviously,
definitely. I remember.
So why wouldn't anybody run it?
When I 30 years ago, or what it was, probably longer than that now, 40 years ago, went to see a ball game between South Natchez and Laurel, between the bricks. South Natchez was running the Notre Dame box.
You don't see that every day.
And their whole backfield was SEC signees. The whole backfield. Quarterback, running backs, everybody.
Yeah.
So, you just run with what you got. But, if the coach wants to do it, let's run what we got. But, it's very hard to prepare for something like that. And it's like say, Wayne County's schedule this year. If you really look at it, how many single wing teams are we going to face?
Yeah.
South and who else?
I don't know.
Playoffs, we might get somebody.
Yeah, the playoffs.
That's it.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else comes out with it out of the closet.
Yeah.
Remember old Barrett pulled one out on USC. So I got the new offense. said y'all beat me 40 points in Birmingham last year. Let me see you do it again.
Let's see you get to football. Let's see how that works.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, change the subject a little bit. I saw in your column, and I'd also found it on my own. You don't have to feed me everything. Every once in a while I will find something. But John Rice Prumley, I love that kid. I love that guy. And I watched him play in high school. Watched him at Ole Miss, and he transferred down to what was that, UCF down there? And he has been named the starting quarterback.
What you think about that?
I'm excited for him. I'm tickled to death. And I think Gus Malzahn's down there. Our guest talked about it a little bit. Gus Malzahn and the type of offense that he runs. And, I got to think that that's going to be a pretty good fit for John Rice.
Oh, if I can find a Central Florida game on, I'm going to definitely watch it or tape it, because I love to watch him play, too. I remember in high school, the first time I really saw him, he was a sophomore, and Oak Grove was playing up here at Wayne County, and he came in a ball game, and he ran kind of like, they put him in on an extra point. And they gave him the ball, and he run over to one side of the field to the other side of the field and scored, And I said, man, I looked at the program, he was a sophomore. And I said, oh, this boy's going to be bad. Yeah. Well, when I saw his last high school game in Hattiesburg, they were playing that DeSoto Central or somebody up there. And from the
Horn Lake. And had Nakobe Dean on that team.
And Horn Lake beat them. But I'm going to tell you what, he was 99% of the Oak Grove offense that night. 99%. And it mostly was running like he did at Ole Miss. Yeah. And if you ever, sports fans remember what he did against LSU that year when Joe Burrow and them came up there. It was like a 60-40 game, and he was running down the field, outrunning every defensive back LSU had.
They got some fast.
That's hard to do. I couldn't do that. Could you?
I don't know. I'd have to try it first. No. Don't go there. Okay. Little big news, pun intended, Big Ten TV contracts. They got them a pretty good one, didn't they?
I think they did. I think
I
they hit the jackpot.
Now, hit the jackpot. They got $7 billion contract with 3 major networks, NBC, CBS, and Fox. Now, does this mean that they have just trumped the SEC and the SEC is taking a back seat?
Well, I've heard this story. Now, I don't know. We go back to everything's driven by the dollar, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm hearing now, I'm just hearing this, and I'm not an expert on this by any opinion, but I'm just telling you what I've been reading between the lines and just trying to figure things out. When I saw that, those are any of those pay-per-views? Not really. Okay, now they'll probably sell some of that stuff to, to some, like Southeast Sports or something like this, or ever what it is out in that area that they're in. But they're going to get all the TV markets. But I think those sports are kind of almost trying to get away from the cable networks because of streaming coming in. People are finding they're breaking away from DirecTV and Dish, and they're going to streaming and they're going to YouTube Live, and they're going to all these other things. So it's like Lindsey Hall told us 2 or 3 weeks ago. Sometimes you don't even know what channel it's on. A major event, or something like this. So I'm really interested in what the Big Ten did because the SEC's got ABC,
Well,
and so
yeah, they got ABC. They got.
This is the last year with the CBS contract for the SEC. But now the SEC, if you remember, they sold but before Texas came in, I can't remember what it was. They were going to get like $300 million a year or something like that. Now Texas and Oklahoma come in. I guarantee you before the contract goes into effect in 2025, when Texas and Oklahoma come in, that contract's going to be renegotiated. And the SEC will pull in some more money. So, but it is interesting. But then I'm hearing too that UCLA, the regents over there,
they may not let them go.
They may not let them go. And I'm thinking, you're telling me that the school is going to get a chance to make, say, $800-900 million a year, and you're going to tell them no? And I mean, California, everybody's leaving at Starwood. I think UCLA will move. You think he'll move to Arizona or somewhere? I mean, I don't know.
That's a great place to stop. I mean, we could beat that horse for a while, but we're not going to do it. But it's an interesting time, and you're going to see, will there be any money left for the SEC? I got to figure there's going to be some really neat stuff coming because, they're not going to take that line down. They're going to go get them a good contract. It's going to be state-of-the-art technology driven, too, I guarantee you. But anyway, it's time for us to go. We appreciate you, Dale, and all that you do for us here on the Brouhaha, our guest. We appreciate him tonight. And you're giving me some sign language there, Dale. You're trying to tell me to shut up? Is that what you're trying to do? You're pointing at your watch. Does that mean it's time to go?
Kinda.
You know what it means?
It means to say goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale. And we'll see you next week for more of the Brouhaha. Take us out here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Dale McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.